It is a beautiful, bright, sunny day in Appling, Georgia at the 2023 PDGA Champions Cup, our first major of 2023 for professionals. And I tell you what, there's an awful lot of people down here in Georgia who sound like my co-host, Nathan Queen.
Oh man, hopefully I don't sound quite like that. But I am here from the south in North Carolina. Beautiful Wildwood Park down here in Georgia. As we saw yesterday, lots of room to attack. The course has been cleaned up quite nicely. It looks clean and has some room on these fairways.
And our entire card starts the day tied for fifth at 8 under par. You see, they're very much in striking distance of that lead, and with a 4-round tournament, anything can happen. You got the 1 round out of the way, but got to keep it rolling.
Yeah, 4 rounds here.
Eagle McMahon, sponsored by Discmania. You see he's putting with those Rainmakers, and as we saw yesterday, throwing quite a few mid-ranges, the MD1s and MD3, and a couple of Mutants. He's going to lean on a PD quite a bit today.
Joona Heinänen's bag here, putting with the KC Pro AVR. Gonna see some Toros and Gators for some upshots, and then as you see, lots of T-Bird on there. Enjoys the Firebird as well, and maybe see some Destroyers.
Chris Dickerson, sponsored by Discraft, throwing and putting with Challenger OSs, got some zones, 4 buzzes in the bag, and I imagine the Undertaker is going to see a lot of work.
And then Mason Ford, sponsored by Mint Disc, gonna see the Royal Prophet, see the Bullets a lot for some upshots, some Mustang for the mid-ranges, and then that Alpha is the original Mint Discs there.
Hole 1, a par 4 to get us started at 660 feet. Got a left and right option off the tee, and then a dog leg to the left. Ideally, you'd like to get something that moves around the corner to shorten your upshot, as that's going to play a little bit uphill.
First off of the box, from Boulder, Colorado, Eagle McMahon.
We saw Eagle yesterday for the second year in a row, making the Gatekeeper feature card in round 1.
Yeah, and able to make the Gatekeeper chase card here for round 2. Going to lead us off with what looks to be a mid-range here.
With Eagle's power that lets him take a full swing, you see the Anheuser release, the disc stability fighting out into a great spot.
Next up, from Rava, Finland, Joona Heinänen.
And Joona Heinänen, we saw him at the Open at Austin, and I got to play with him round 1 at this tournament. Look for a lot of power, especially from the backhand sign. Joona using the right gap, and does tag a little bit of branches, but look at that run. All the way to the left side. He'll probably have to throw a lean-out forehand.
Next up, from Gray, Tennessee, the tournament defending champion, Chris Dickerson.
Yeah, you could really see how much power Joona has with that disc moving that far forward, how steep of an angle that was on. Chris looks like he's lining up this right side as well. A lot straighter of a shot here, though. Looking for it to drift back. Just catches something on the right side. May still have something where he's at, though.
Yeah, I think that'll open up the right side for a hyzer.
Polo, Texas, Mason Ford.
And I also got to play with Mason in the first round. And I tell you what, this guy does not get off the fairway very often.
So that's a very nice compliment.
Yeah, he's going to throw differently than a lot of players. Very spin-oriented, and he's pretty small. He's 5'8", 5'9", but packs a lot of punch in that.
Yeah, and you see it right there. Line drive shot, going to be in a great position.
Dickerson aiming for a hyzer release. A little bit of stand up in the middle of the flight and cruising through the gap. That's going to hug the right side and land near circle's edge for a birdie look.
This shot isn't particularly long, but it does have this kind of long, drawn-out uphill slope to it. Really make sure you drive into your shot, as Mason does well right there. He's going to be well inside the circle.
And this is a real steady uphill. It's not something where you have a backstop behind the basket. Eagle with the Anheuser release and
tracking it the whole way.
You kind of, from that right side, the gaps don't line up very well. Joona is going to go to a backhand. While this hole is fairly scoreable, it is one of the rougher roughs on the entire course.
Yes, it does seem like, as that is not a good kick. He's played off to the right side of the fairway now. But it does seem like on this course, the wider that the fairway is, the rougher that it's stayed on the edges.
Which is a pretty good maintenance aesthetic, I think.
Yeah, I agree. I like that. If you got more room on the fairway, you shouldn't be off of it.
Yeah, definitely. Joona tags something coming out and is going to have to make a putt to save his par, potentially. Eagle, controlled Anheuser to the bullseye. As we noted yesterday, just making your tap-in pars low stress is a big deal.
Definitely so. It's not quite what you want here on hole 1. It did average a quarter stroke under par. So it's one you want to get the birdie on to start off. Definitely not the bogey that Joona's looking at right now. Chris with a deep circle 1 look here. Might have to deal with these trees just a little bit.
And does cash it just over the rim.
Did that go through? Yes, that indeed went through those trees there.
I appreciate it when players show the line that their putt had to go by walking between like that. And Mason and Chris going to be two of the most deliberate putting warm-ups you'll see. They'll pump fake you for sure.
Yeah, I haven't heard it used in a while, but robot chicken.
Yeah.
It's a good nickname for Chris Dickerson that you may have heard before.
Yeah, definitely. Built on his demeanor, his routine, and his diet. A bogey cleanup for Joona and eagle for the tap-in par.
That moves us into hole 2, our first par 3 of the day, 390-foot par 3. You want to throw a pushing fairway driver shot on a hyzer, but kind of pushing forward, not really moving too much to the right, and just soft finish right by the pin. If you disc up to distance driver, you have the opportunity to kind of push too quickly to the right side and run into those trees, or catch a big skip laid off to the left.
Thank you. This is pretty well immaculate by Dickerson, just holding that hyzer angle up the right side. A little bit of scooch and a 15-footer for his reward. Forward with one of those alphas, as you noted in our intro, Nathan.
And held right just a little bit too long, but does stay pretty clean through those trees. He's going to have a early circle 2 look.
Eagle saw what Dickerson did, follows it, does get a little scooch out to the left off of a tree, and he will join Mason. Joona with a T-bird. And this is swung high and right. It will need some help.
Yeah, even with that on the fairway, it was a little bit too high to really push far enough at the right angle. And going to be much happier with that scramble effort than he is on the first hole. Going to get up and down for the par now.
And weight was pretty far forward on the front foot, unable to get it all the way over the rim. So a tap in 3 for Ford. McMahon. Good catch by the basket on the right side.
Just able to hang on. And if you don't get the birdie on hole 1, you do feel like you need to get it on hole 2, averaging close to a half stroke under par today with a 2.58. Chris Dickerson going to go ahead and grab both of them, though, off to a great start.
Yeah, our defending champion, I imagine, has designs on a repeat. Hole 3, 726 feet, another par 4. And this is about as open a tee shot as you're going to get on this entire fairway. If you throw about 350 feet, it leaves a hyzer into the green, or you can be more aggressive with a big backhand turnover. The green has some scattered trees leading in, so you need to pick your line accordingly. This looks like Undertaker out of Dickerson, hoping to get his distance and then drift as far right as possible.
Yeah, big aggressive line. Got a very nice turn. He's going to end up right in the middle of the fairway.
And that disc looks a lot like one I gave him. I want it back if you're going to throw it like that, Chris.
Speaking of big aggressive line, you see Eagle going 60 feet higher, 40 feet farther right here. And ends up fading out, might be far enough to mess with the little inside line that's up top up there, but definitely not what he was looking for there.
Ford being a little more conservative with this forehand play, and that's well done. We'll leave him either a fairway or a distance driver on hyzer. As noted, Joona, a big power player. So I'm looking forward to seeing where this one goes if he hits it correctly.
Yeah, and big height out of the hand. Gets it turned over just a little bit too much. I believe he caught something there along the way.
And this is kind of the hazard of that big aggressive play. It can leave you in some tricky spots.
Well, here we go.
Does well to work his way back to the fairway. That should leave about 150 into the green. Left to right shape. Ford. Hyzer, a little bit of stand up. This is going to push the back wall, which is what you need, and works his way into circle one.
Oh my goodness.
That's very nicely done.
That's so good. I was going to say before he threw, he's a little farther back than you really like to be there, but obviously not. That looked very well planned.
Dickerson able to take a straighter line. This is going to keep running, but checks up well.
That's new this year, as far as cleaned out wise. I've never seen that intentionally taken before, but done very well.
And Eagle, this is going off the fairway, not nearly high enough, and this is Scramble Town. There is a line if you can spike it high enough, but the second growth sweet gums are coming in pretty quick.
So the way these trees are scattered up here around the pin made Joona straddle around a tree when he didn't really have to, just to try to get a more open look.
Pretty
Interesting
well done
choice
with his
there.
forehand. And Eagle to the forehand roller. Very early on, the creativity required for hole 3, huh, Nathan?
Oh yeah, this is it's become one of my favorite holes on the course.
Mm-hmm.
Brought up yesterday. I believe this is the third year, and they've definitely done some work on it each year, and made its way to a pretty good par 4 at the moment.
A good save by McMahon. But you see the difference in shot complexity between Eagle fading his tee shot out early and Dickerson holding it in the fairway the entire time.
Yeah, and it provided Dickerson with a better chance to have the opportunity for a birdie.
Which is what we want, right? Like well-executed shots, better potential to score.
Absolutely. He's looking for 3 in a row to start his round. Count it.
And moves up to solo third place. A little too early to, really be taking scores seriously, but keep moving up.
What's up, guys? Eagle here. Thank you for watching Gatekeeper Media, and I just want to send you over to my socials. Go check out my YouTube, Eagles Vlogs. Go check out me on Instagram, Eagle_WMCM. Discmania, we got some cool stuff coming out. Sweets Kendamas, got some grip bags left, and I just want to thank all of you for the amazing support. Keep on dreaming.
What people are going to notice when they pick up the Supreme Series is superior grip, superior durability.
The inspiration of creating a new disc line for Dynamic Disc was to actually step up the quality even more.
Our friends over at Latitude 64 have to have special molds made. And this Supreme line of plastic is truly a premium plastic. It's a premium disc, and you will know it when you touch it and when you throw it, that it's as good as it gets.
Kyle Klein stepping up for the birdie on 18.
Your Open champion, Gannon Burr.
Another record-setting weekend on the Disc Golf Pro Tour. Back-to-back weeks, winner coming from the chase card. Pretty special stuff. Gannon Burr, Kyle Klein, 2 young superstars on tour, showing you how to get it done.
Here we are at hole 4, 327-foot par 3. Similar to hole 2's shot, you want to push it forward on a hyzer and then have a late push. But on this shot, you do want to actually catch some skip. Move yourself over to the left, most likely with some mid-ranges, possibly putter or possibly fairway, but mid-range seems to be best.
This looks like overstable mid out of Dickerson, and a little roll on the end, but still well inside the circle for his birdie look. This hole is pretty tough because it's almost like a knight's move, 2 up and 1 over. Like, you have to be going so far left, and you rarely see the last third of your flight.
Right, and you have to go so far left. You see that mistake fairly often of just a little bit early. You really have to push the right side of this fairway until you get to that point where you can't see your disc anymore.
And Eagle making the opposite mistake, trying to hold a hyzer out wide right. Does drop in the fairway. Joona with a good correction, but catches a little bit of stuff inside and early. Interesting reaction. He's going to wonder how his disc got all the way over there, I imagine.
Definitely so. That didn't push forward really at all, and he's going to have that push forward spot. This is a very overstable disc from Eagle. I thought that was right out of his hand, but immediately went to the left. He's going to have a tap-in par.
Mason kind of making something out of nothing here. This is going to need to hurry to scoot to the left. Leaves him around circle's edge for a par putt.
Yeah, that's pretty good when you're having to reach for that. I would take circle's edge.
Yeah, unquestionably. Joona with his first real birdie chance on the afternoon gets himself back to even par with this Gatekeeper rewind.
Yeah, his first real birdie look, and a long one at that, able to connect nicely. Happy to be back at even. Going into another difficult hole coming up. And Mason, not to be outlooked with a nice birdie on the last hole. has moved himself to 2 under par, and nice par scramble there.
Yeah, that's what it's going to take to keep yourself in position. Opportunistic putting, and Dickerson here to go 4 for 4. Can't be too many people in the field doing that, even though the Jackson course was playing about 2/3 of a stroke easier on day 2 overall than day 1.
And Chris Clemens did go 5 for 4 to start the round yesterday. No ace on this hole today. Chris Dickerson, 4 for 4, most likely best on the day.
Hole 5, 432 feet. Again, another claustrophobic shot. Likely to see fairway drivers thrown backhand to move left to right during their flight. And this is more or less a bonus birdie.
You would think so, right? 432 feet.
A lot of woods everywhere.
So many woods. 25% of the field. That's 27 players were able to get the birdie on this hole today.
I implore all of you, stop it. They're going to make these holes even harder on us.
Yeah, that's an incredible stat to me. That's so many birdies.
Yeah, when this hole was introduced, people were talking about, like, what's the most efficient way to lay up? Guarantee I take a 3. And I think we're all just conditioned to attack, that it's normal to have shots like this.
And Chris Dickerson, he's going to have an opportunity to go 5 for 5. He gets down there very nicely. Joona ends up kicking a tree off to the left side.
Mason's footwork is just so good. You see how he kind of works his way left to right and then back into a hyzer angle release.
What a beautiful
just
shot.
Butter.
Man. Oh, that was so good. I knew it out of his hand. I'm sure he did as well. Oh, you can't do it any better.
Yeah, that's putting lane lines down the middle of that fairway. And McMahon, we saw him get this in round 1. Another hyzer release. Look at the late drift. And actually long on the shelf with the bucket.
Yeah, not really worried about his disc coming back at all. Just makes sure he puts enough hyzer on it that it's going to glide most of the way down there. And not to be as far as 5 for 5 on the round. Still a fantastic start, 4 down through 5. I doubt you've seen many putts for 2 from here.
Unfortunately, we're going to see a 3 from the bullseye. Joona able to card the par. You see a little bit of similarity in his style to what Niklas Antila was doing yesterday. Getting forward on that front foot. And then an arm action that goes down to up. And forward from 18 feet or so. High in the chains, but sticks it.
Yeah, fully committed there. Ends up down in the bottom of the basket. He's going to be 3 down through the first 5 holes. I'm sure he's looking to get some back-to-back birdies, as so far he's just gone on the odds.
I mean, I think if we're talking about beats, you want to be clapping on the odd ones, right? So, good rhythm from Ford.
Moves us into hole 6, 366-foot par 3. You've got options again. There's a left and a right. Most likely going to see all players take the right side here. Another shot you want to have pushing forward. You can either do understable on a hyzer and have it push forward, or very fast with the more overstable disc and just don't have much movement on it.
Mason uses all of that right side to glide up to another pretty routine birdie tap in.
That's the softest you're going to see a disc come into this basket.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's an incredible shot from Mason.
Dickerson playing the flip up. This looks like it's going to track more left and gets tagged down. Still a birdie opportunity, but from much further away.
Yeah, you see that one was moving a lot quicker than Mason's was and ended up staying right just a bit too long.
Joona with a flip up. That's very well done.
So good.
I promise the hole is hard. An eagle, you see him eyeing up the hyzer. Such a comfortable angle for him. And when the disc lands, it is nearly flat. One little bounce and bullseye.
These guys are so good.
Chris playing right side.
It's
unable to dunk.
Starting to get to a point where the shots that you used to see, you know, once out of every 10, once out of every 20 times, you're seeing 2-3 times on a card from different players.
Mm-hmm.
And it's awesome to see so many different players learning the different types of shots instead of just throwing the same angles all the time.
Hey, my name is Joona Heinänen. I want to thank you my sponsors, Innovadiscs, Droppari, Hyzer Flexbacks and Autoliike Palomäki. And if you want to follow me on social media, you can find me on Instagram, not hashtag, but at Jomeli. And also with my name you can find me. Thanks for watching.
Hole 7, a par 4 at 744 feet. You have a downhill tee shot through an initial field goal and then need to work across this grassy field and run to the left. Distance control kind of important to set up the second shot, which is likely going to be a hyzer backhand with an overstable disc to push around a set of trees and then get back to a basket that's perched on a hillside. Forward with, as you called, those back-to-back birdies. This is well done. It's either a little inside or perfect. A little inside.
And he was most likely thinking the same thing off the tee, probably telling it to push just a little bit.
Whoa! A big hyzer swoop from Joona and tags one of those field goals. Does stay in the fairway.
Yeah, pretty out of position. Gonna have to play some smart par golf from there. Oh, yeah.
McMahon holds on the hyzer.
That's too far.
It might be too far left. He might have to take the overland route rather than playing a valley shot.
It could be pretty open with as far as he got, but it's not the intended line, so I'm not sure it's really clean.
Dickerson, I think this is a predator. It's pushing much too straight, but does get left some. As we noted yesterday, scrambling is pretty much a necessity unless you're in a perfect little circle. Heinänen with another hyzer. Gets caught up a little bit, so unfortunately he is going to throw his third before everybody else throws their second.
Yeah, and that is not a good position to make it to the pin. That does get pretty far down there, though. He's going to be in a good spot to get up and down for hopefully a stress-free bogey.
Ford has to go standstill, and
you don't want to be on that side.
No, definitely. He's still about 160 out, maybe a touch more. And Nathan, what is this he's lining up?
Looks to be a roller. Backhand roller trying to follow this hill. No, that was an air shot. Probably overstable.
No, that was that Undertaker again. I think he was going for a cut roller to run up the hill. Unfortunately, we'll never get to say for sure. We can argue about it all day. Instead, we're going to see a gorgeous series of gap hits from McMahon.
Yeah, as he was able to find himself a gap up high on that left side. Gonna be underneath the basket for a birdie look.
And this is big time. Ford is leaking early. It's a good miss.
What a good miss. He said, "Where are you going?" And the disc was like, all right, I'm going to go to the circle.
Sometimes it's better to miss big rather than a little bit. Dickerson, a pushing overstable shot, and floats it into the circle. He will have his par chance.
And Joona now up and down, going to be looking for a bogey. This hole has never really been my friend. But quick shout out for myself. I got the birdie today.
Attaboy.
I think it's the first time I've ever even had a look. As Mason able to card the par there.
Every hole's a lefty hole if you believe it is. Dickerson for his par chance as well. You see the routine.
And a nice par save after not moving very far on his second shot.
Joona from above the basket. Drills it in, and unfortunately back to even on the round.
Yeah, you could see he was not concerned about the downhill behind that basket. Gonna go ahead and fire it in there.
Yeah. Sometimes putting for bogey relieves that a little bit.
Yeah, and a tap-in birdie for Eagle. He's got back-to-back now. Moves us into hole 8, 645-foot par 4. You want to get around the corner to this area, hopefully on the right side, so you can take the bigger fairway heading towards the basket. These late couple trees we're passing right now come into play on your upshot. It does go slightly uphill towards the second part of that fairway also. But mainly placement off of the tee to make sure you have a straight shot down the second part of this fairway.
With Eagle's power, sometimes a little bit difficult to slow his arm speed down enough, but does well. He'll be on the left side of the fairway. Couple options from there. Ford likes throwing this putter, kind of forcing it over. But hopefully with a little stability to let it fight back.
Ooh, a nice kick out.
He's about 450 away from the pin there. Will be looking up the fairway.
This looks pretty nice from Chris. And he is going to land right, I think, centered on the left side of that fairway.
And Joona doesn't want to have to go to the forehand very much. Swings it a little bit left side and taps down early. That'll leave him about 380 or so to the bucket. This is kind of speculative from Ford. He's going to push the right side, hope to land above the basket and scooch down.
Oh, wow.
That's big.
Yeah, that's a great shot. Like you said, he was pushing that 450 range. He's up there almost to circle's edge.
Joona with an initial gap and kind of yanks it to the right.
What?
But also up towards circle 2.
That must have been a pretty understable disc there.
Eagle, we saw him kind of do this yesterday as well, using an understable flip-up backhand rather than the forehand. Makes good forward progress, but I think that's just going to be a layup for his par opportunity. And Dickerson, hyzer release with a fairway driver. And stands it up. This is above the basket now. Oh, yikes.
Yeah, big kick down the hill. That was tracking towards the basket, in my opinion, if it was starting to fade out.
Yeah, I agree. There's a couple guardians of this circle 2, circle 1 area that seem to get hit an awful lot for their size.
And they move very quickly once they hit this, as it slopes right to left here downhill. No, get moving left very fast. It's amazing forward. Connects from about 55.
Yeah, with a fist bump too.
That Gatekeeper rewind. It's going to put him 5 down through the first 8 holes now. And momentarily has the lead on the card. Chris Dickerson going to have an opportunity for a birdie as well.
You said they move fast. I thought you were referring to the trees, kind of jumping into the way of discs. But you're right, as the downhill slope to the left kind of lets discs accelerate as they hit. And Joona with a great 3.
Got that bounce back stat working. Back to under par now for the second time in the round. Also excited about it.
McMahon for his par. And spins it dead center.
Chris Dickerson on a bit of a par streak here. I'm sure he's going to look to change that moving on to hole 9.
Hole 9, an initial gap shot, a couple braided fairways to work with, likely to see backhand fairway drivers. And the fairway is going to bend gently to the left. Once again, a series of gaps that you have to work with. You kind of throw your tee shot and then decide how you're going to get to the basket. I don't know that you can script this one perfectly. Ford gonna overturn this a little bit and gets knocked down. Still will have a chance to birdie, but it takes a fairway driver shot from about 350.
Yeah, there's lots of little trees in there where he landed also. It can get pretty tight. This from Joona is about what you script off of the tee. He's up there past that road. That's all you can ask for. And he's got the more open side of the fairway lined up also over on that right side.
Yeah, from there you're thinking, straight putter, little bit of finish on it. Eagle has this high and moving left. We'll get to see another way to grandmother's house.
Yeah, that's the scramble zone over there on the left.
And Dickerson with the gentle Anheuser release gets the disc to flat and carrying. And in good shape. Should have to throw a little bit of hyzer with mid-range or putter. Forward with an abbreviated swing, maybe to avoid a tree or something. But gets full flight.
Yeah, that's difficult to do when you're crowded in by all those little trees and branches hanging around you. Still able to get that full flight. Chris Dickerson having a weave through a couple trees. He's going to also slide up there inside circle 1. Definitely looking to end that par streak.
And Joona with a standstill. This is about as easy pickings as you're going to get on hole 9.
Ooh, and
nice little backboard.
Yeah, he was a little early on that one. He was definitely looking to push that down the right side the whole way. Cuts inside some trees, but going to be inside the circle. And the Eagles found a wide open gap over on that left side. And as you would expect to see on a hole that had 51% of the field take birdies today, we have 4 birdie looks here from our chase card.
Unfortunately, the first of those a little bit fluffed. Ford going to have to settle for par. Heinänen able to make good.
And after starting the round with 4 birdies in a row, Chris Dickerson going to finish that front 9 with his 5th of the day. Eagle McMahon also going to card himself a birdie, moving to 4 under par.
And what we saw in round 1 was that 4 or 5 kind of had you in the mix after 9 holes, so a lot of these folks in good shape. Joona looking to make a move on the back. Let's take a look at our leaderboard as of now. You see a couple 13s, a 12, and a 10 overall for the first 27 holes of this 72-hole round or tournament.
Yeah, and 3 clean cards there. Only Joona with a couple bogeys. Now you see the leaderboard here. Kind of the same guys up top.
Yeah, just showing that those first rounds weren't a fluke. Everybody still in contention. A lot of golf left. Nathan, I'm really looking forward to seeing the back 9 and some more great shots and a lot of attacking.
Absolutely. 2 more rounds to go after that back 9 as well. Lots of golf left. Thank you for joining us here on Gatekeeper Media. For Andrew Fish, I'm Nathan Queen. We'll see you guys out there.